This conference will now be recorded.
All right, welcome to Level 3, Lesson 1. And as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So, Steve, you are up.
Check, check.
I hear you loud and clear.
All right. First to the table once again.
Yes, sir.
And I bring 2 plates, so I don't have to wait online for seconds.
You're going to show us the way.
That's it. All right, so ENTX looks like our favorite this morning. Just waiting for some new prints for a new trade because we know what happened already.
Mm-hmm.
And we need something for us for now. But just to give the background on it, we have, I'd say, about 5 to 6 print personality. Increments are 50 cents at the moment. Range we know isn't gonna have any effect for today. It's gonna be way above range for today.
Yeah.
It'll be irrelevant.
Not going to mean anything.
So those prints there at 74.75, nice above print personality. Just all buying in this thing right now over the 650 after we saw those 50 prints there.
Yeah, just been a ton of off-level buying, right?
Yep. So we're gonna let it come to 7 and see what happens there for a new trade. In the meantime, I'll let me know if anybody sees anything that we can work with for lesson wise, because this one's gonna be obviously quick and moving this morning.
Sure seems that way.
Yeah, definitely number 1 to focus on. Not a bad
Well,
one.
especially since we got our perfect trade as soon as I start the meeting, as always.
Exactly. So, what else did we have? Clove on the list isn't doing much right now.
No, it's pretty much in its pullback phase.
Right. And then same thing with Plug, was just sitting around that 33.50. So not seeing anything much new. Wish is one I've been following for a while. I like those prints that came in there under 14.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna keep my eye on
90 to
that.
88, right? I was just looking at that. It's starting to get some movement coming in.
Yeah.
So it'd be perfect if we get up to 14.
Yep. And this has been buying for the last week or so.
Mm-hmm. Only thing is it's got, more of a textbook than a Cliff Notes.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So ENTX is more for now, but it's been hot and textbook, but if it shows us something for today, we can go.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no question.
Yep.
It's getting some real nice buying under that 14.
Certainly. So let's we know what ENTX has. We have to wait on that one. So I'm gonna try and study the Swish one now.
All right, let's pull up Wish.
Just because it's closer to a level. ENTX didn't hit 7 for us. We don't really have anything to play off of that one just now. ENTX, I mean, Wish also has high print personality for today. Being that it's pre-market especially.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a 5 to 6 range. 5 to 6 print personality there.
I'd probably go with 6.
6, right? I would say the range still is in play. We don't know what the volume's going to be like, whether it's crazy. It had crazy volume, so that average is definitely skewed the last couple of days. So
Absolutely. So we probably assume if we look at our range, probably going to be a bit more than that $1.08.
Right. Yep. The increments don't look like they. Well, it just started moving, so the increments are still only showing 10 cents there. All right, so now it's getting a little mixed with the 1390 there, selling.
Now, the amount of buying that we've seen coming into it, though, is that changing anything that we see?
No, some profit taken.
Mm-hmm.
Adjustment.
Because if we look at the money flow coming into that 14 level, it's by far buying.
Right. Yeah, certainly. That's only one burst so far, so
You don't have your chart up, right?
what?
I said you don't have your chart up, right?
Oh. You want me to take it down?
No, I'm just kidding with you.
Good point. That was excellent class, by the way, both classes yesterday, definitely.
Thank you.
All right, so
So we still have 7 minutes. 7 minutes is an eternity at this point.
yeah,
So
yeah,
really at this, exactly what you're doing right now is exactly what you should be doing. You're just lining up what's the best possibilities, things that need to happen. Like when
right,
we went in our class right now, unfortunately in ENTX, yeah, that's a great trade, but if it doesn't get to 7, nothing we can do. Wish, great buying, doesn't get to 14, nothing we can do.
yep,
So it's really just looking for something at this moment that actually gives us the ability to make a game plan for when 9:30 comes.
exactly, yep. Would we start just saying if this, then that? I mean, obviously, so we would expect Wish to come up to 14, hit on the ask.
We
And
would.
then start thinking about the number of trades. So the number of trade we're looking for there would
Mhm.
be the one trade.
So it depends because the print personality is pretty high, right?
Right,
So it's also been a hot stock. So until it hits 14, we technically don't know which type of trade we want to take yet.
right,
Because if it hits 14, with a decent amount, we're probably going to wait because we know the volume is going to be so high coming into the morning. We're probably going to wait for a number 4 trade. But if
right,
it hits 14, like just huge, then we could switch over to thinking that number 1 trade. But we know when the market opens, volume's going to be high. So number 4s are going to happen a lot quicker,
right,
which means the number 1 trades are going to, if you take them, are going to be a lot quicker as well.
right, right.
And
Yeah, just
based
mean as
off of
far
our
as,
increments right now, is the range enough to even think about a number 1 trade unless we get a huge amount?
no, not at this point.
Hmm.
Not enough in it.
We don't have our 50 cents.
Right, yep. Yeah, it's funny, that move right there. I looked at the chart and nothing came in it. That's a move that, a chart move that gets retail itchy.
Hmm.
All right, so ENTX is coming to 7 now. Got some ask 699. Refreshing. Just hit it a few times, nothing crazy. It's just taking out that order, refreshing there. A lot of refreshing going on, so I'm expecting a pullback, but it's going to be a hot stock, so expecting a quick pullback because there's enough volume for them to build
Hmm.
yet today.
I would agree.
Yep. So most likely up at this point looking at a 4 trade.
Hmm. I mean, if you look at volume, it's actually the entire time it's been waxing. So you got that beautiful trigger that came in. We knew we had that selling, so it had to come down from the 675. And then since then, the volume's just been continuing to go up.
Right.
And as you just said, we have great refreshing that's coming in at that 7 level.
Yep. Yep. So they've had plenty of time to build so far, and the 7 ask prints and refreshing, we still need a pullback based on our rules,
Hmm.
but it doesn't have to be much and it doesn't have to be long.
Hmm.
So I didn't try to get shares on this one. Probably hard to borrow anyway.
I would have to
Nothing.
assume so. I
Yeah.
haven't tried either, but I would, based off of just, experience, I would have to assume that there's no shares available.
Yeah. All right, so nothing above the 7 that. So again, we have 5 to 6 print personality. So I'm not seeing anything over the 7, but that answers confirms our game plan that we want to pull back first
Mm-hmm.
before it pops up. So we're waiting on that. I think that would be,
Like you said, the question you have to ask, is the pullback going to be big? Is it going to be long? But it's not. It's probably going to be the shorter type pullback because of how hot this actual stock is. And
yep.
you know,
I'm just gotta wait a couple minutes.
it sucks when a stock makes its move 2 minutes before, especially knowing that we need this 7 pullback. This isn't something that you could take right this second.
Right.
Even though once the market opens, we're going to see this thing explode pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Based off what we see so far with the prints.
Yep.
If it zooms up without a proper pullback, can we take a trade to the downside then, right? If we had shares. So I personally would not. And the reason being is because if you look at all this off-level buying that's been coming in underneath that 7 level, it's really showing short-term. So when you get that much short-term buying to try to take that pullback, is it worth it when the stock is showing you that it has at least 750 in it? I mean, by far, when we look at the stock, is it an exception or is it the normal stock?
Yeah, this is gonna be an exception today.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not even trying to hide the buying. When we talk about, if we want to make 50 cents, we need the buying for $1. I mean,
Right.
this is by far given that.
Right.
So to try to take like a quick short on it kind of almost distracts you from where the stock is actually telling you it's going.
Yep. Yep. So still nothing above with crazy print personality. It's just moving on the speed of tape speed right now, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, 9:30.
Okay, would this pullback be enough? Question we got to ask ourselves.
Well, we want it to go under 7, right?
But did it already go under 7?
Oh, right before the bell?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it went quickly under 7.
Mm-hmm.
Cents.
Okay, but does that change anything?
No, I would say no, because we still didn't see the buy-in
Mm-hmm.
above print personality. Now we just had some 710 prints way above print personality, which
Where's the dominant market maker right now?
7.
At 7, right?
Yep.
Okay, so now what we're looking for is to confirm that person's going to make their money. We need to see those off-level prints. Okay, there we go.
Right. Now we went under those. We had 710 way above print personality.
Mm-hmm.
And
So at any point right now, a trigger, can we take it?
Certainly.
Uh-huh.
So we have to, but we're going to be playing defense until we get some more confirmation that it's going to continue.
Mm-hmm. And we know that 30,000, so there's a print line. 30,000 typically isn't a lot, but in a cheap stock like this with no prints that big, 30,000 is a huge burst.
Yep.
Okay. When we look at that print line, was that guy buying or selling?
Buying.
Buying. Why do we know that? Or why to a high percentage can we assume that?
Because we're on the way up.
Not that the order was on the ask. The prints around it. What was the money flow? Was it buying or selling?
Money flow is buying.
Was buying big time, right?
Right.
So we have to be under the assumption that that person that is buying there. But we also know that that's the biggest market maker we've seen. So at 720, we want this stock to pop. Is this stock going to only go, 20 cents?
No, not at all.
No. So what's our best trigger to take? Is it underneath that 720 where we know the biggest market maker is, or once it breaks above 720?
We would want to be under the 720. under where the market maker is, right?
So the problem there is that we know that games are going to happen at 720
Okay,
because the market maker's sitting there. So we
okay,
know with the amount of buying that this has, it has the ability to run to at least 8, right?
yeah.
Okay, so would it be better to be confirmed above the market maker or get in with the chances of the games being played at 720?
Right, I see what you're saying. Because
You
we
know what
also
I'm
have the
saying?
money market maker at 7 too, so we have games at 7 and 720.
Hmm.
The
So that
range of
that
games,
whole
yeah.
area is just full of sharks.
Yep, yep,
So we know that once if the stock is going to go, we have plenty of room. So our risk versus reward, it's not worth the 20 cents to get barred down on. Versus once it pops up above that 720, we know now that's an actual release. You see what I'm
right.
saying?
Yep, yep.
So to try to take a trade in this area isn't worth it, considering the fact that we know what's going on there. We wanted to
Gotcha.
break up above there because guess what? It's the 20 cents is worth not being shaken out.
Yeah.
So instead of making, let's say instead of making $1, you make 80 cents. Is that a bad thing?
Not at all.
Nope, not even close.
Yep. Yeah, so now at this point, then I mean, yeah, it's within that range, so I guess we can look for, if it pulls back to the 650, we could look for the trigger up from there.
And that would be fine because you're not, we remember the original person that showed us the biggest position the first time was at 650.
Yep.
So that's not a bad thing because guess what? If it comes up to 7, you still have your 50 cents. You're still in 50 cents before where the games are going to be played.
Yep, yep. And it looks like since the market opened,
It's mostly
print
selling, right?
personality, yeah, it's mostly selling. I was going to say the print personality is more like 5 now. Went down a little bit from the pre-market.
I like that right there.
The buying underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so we're not going to take that, but that gives us
We're going to
confirmation
be
that,
ready to take it soon.
oh, yep, over the 720, yep. More 715,
715 like that.
yep.
But look what happened. See how if we would have taken that trigger, what happened here?
Oh, yeah, got slammed.
You would have got slammed. That's why it's worth the 20 cents for actual confirmation.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Because that's a trade that anyone probably would have taken because you think, okay, well, there's a trigger, but it's actually not really a trigger until the person's making money. And when this
Right.
person at 720 showed us that they're the biggest market maker there, we know there's games here and we know there's games at 7.
Right.
So if we would have taken a trigger underneath here, that's when someone would have been like, well, it's supposed to go up. It's supposed to happen. No, unfortunately, it hasn't given us an actual trade yet.
Yeah. And see, I wouldn't have even considered with this much volume, and I think a lot of people might feel this way, that seeing that print line with only 30,000, I mean, I've never really taken it to be that strong.
So the thing is that everything's relative. Do you see any other big prints that way? Are there any other print lines or any other big prints?
No, there's no other print lines. No.
No, so it's
Right.
relative. That's huge. That's the biggest that's happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like if they did want to, it seems like they'd easily be able to, but yeah, it hasn't happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you would think that, but to get 30,000 shares in one burst is not an easy thing. Do we also consider that it moved $3 since pre-market? Absolutely. It's got to take a little bit of a break. And because it was they had some time to build, but because it's been in pretty much money time almost the entire morning, guess what? They got to bring it down to build a little bit. Doesn't mean the stock, we just have to have patience. But so many of us would have wanted to try to get into it because we didn't want to miss that big move that was coming. But when we break it down and you see that that the market maker's at 7 and then there's 30,000 shares, which doesn't look like a lot, but relative is huge. We know there's games all around here. So unless the trigger breaks up above there for them to start making their money, nothing we can do. Okay, this is one of those stocks that is so easy to get slammed on because we don't want to miss it because we know the buying is there, but it was not the right spot. You know what I'm saying? You could jump in, the water when sharks are surrounding you and not get bit. You might get lucky, but we're not trying to get lucky. We're trying to make sure that we're in the best situation possible for our entry. Because you got to remember something. If this stock breaks out, is it going to just stop at 750? No, it's going to be a huge move. So that 20 cents of confirmation stops us from getting hurt. And look what would have happened. You would have looked like you saw this beautiful trigger coming in. Guess what happened? 720, we know the biggest market maker in this stock is right there, and boom, slammed you. But we knew not to do it before it happened. This is better for us though, right? Better to get an entry further away from 725. Absolutely. 100%. You just have to be careful again because, think about it right now. Okay, we get a trigger towards the upside right now. Where are we pretty much going to end up having to get in?
Around that 7. You're gonna have to.
Yeah,
around that
either like
720
right underneath the 7, okay,
Yeah.
or like even over 7. And now
Yeah.
we're in that shark infested water again.
Right.
So again, the first trigger, this is not going to be the buying that we have. It's not going to be a small move. There's no reason to try to rush the trade. Now, yes, the first trigger is always the highest, percentage, but that trigger will put us right back into shark infested water.
Yeah.
So really, at the end of the day, we need our order to be somewhere around, 726 or, somewhere above this actual print line that shows us the confirmation of it actually being able to break out.
Yeah. So yeah, nothing much we could do with this one where it's at now. So I'm
Now let's move on to something
scanning
else
around.
where we have controlling prints, and we'll keep this on the side. I'll watch
Yeah.
it as we're coming in, because guess what? Right now we're talking about almost 10 minutes into the open. Okay, no more time to waste on this. We'll find a new trade.
Yep.
But like I said, I'm still going to have it up, and you still have your order ready above there, because if it starts to break out, beautiful.
Yep. So
We just didn't get a trade in it. Nothing you can do about that.
Yeah. Well, we saved our asses from not getting in the trade too.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of losing 50 cents, we have our whole morning.
Yeah.
It is not a bad thing to not, to not take a trade. It just wasn't there. If it's not there, it's not there. Nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. So we were looking at Wish earlier. It's in a consolidation, but I did notice it's getting some huge prints, which I don't know if it's something worth looking for trading wise but I noticed.
A lot of selling at that 14.
Yeah.
13.99.
Yeah, it's like all huge selling.
Okay, so what does that tell us? What does
So
this move? What does this move tell us?
So yeah, huge selling means we're gonna get a push up and then look for the trigger back down for the number 2.
Okay, what's our increments?
Increments are 20 cents, 25 cents. So 14.25 would be somewhere to look for a trigger. That was pretty huge. I would rather look for 14.50.
You have 100% better off. And what do we notice about the buying that's coming in? Steve, ENTX, here's your trade.
Did it go off?
Not yet. It's very close though.
Oh, here we go. All right. There you have it. All right. Oh, that's hilarious.
Right off that 650.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to get halted.
Low of 654. I didn't touch 6.
Still going.
Still. There we go.
See, it's
Yeah.
exactly what happened. Okay, and when this opens, guess what? Is it going to go higher or lower?
I would guess higher.
I would have to say so based off our prints, right?
Yep.
But see how our trade just wasn't there until it showed us our trade was there.
Right. Yeah, and
Okay,
that
it
first
changed.
trigger, like you said, we wouldn't have been in until near that 7 anyway.
Mhm.
Even though it was in shark infested waters at that point, it was just such a clear trigger that you have to take it, I would say.
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, you're talking about, taking a trigger from 650 versus, so you probably would have been in somewhere right around, still probably close to 7, but look at this volume. I
Yeah.
mean, you went into our dip and then we got a perfect trade off 650.
Yep.
Okay, that it showed us our trade.
Yep.
And now, I mean, you'd be halted and you'd be sitting here watching it, but that's exactly what needed to happen. The refreshing at 7, when you have refreshing is like a 90% variable that comes in. So once we had that refreshing at 7, we know the stock's got to go up big. It was just a matter of when to actually take the trade.
Right. Yeah.
It came down to 650. I mean, it not for nothing, but it literally was perfect.
Yeah.
Besides, halting, that's not perfect at all.
Yeah.
But you had it mapped out. Yeah, everything was what it was.
Yeah. Just I wanted to move on for the lesson wise because we weren't sure.
Oh, exactly, 100%. But like I said, you'd put it on the side, but you still have your order ready.
Yep.
And then it happened.
Yep.
The prints told us it was coming. It was just a matter of that timing. If we would have taken the trade right here, trying to miss out in that shark infested waters, we would have got burnt big time. Okay, now we're all the way down 50 cents below. That's a big difference.
Right.
And then you get your trigger and you're in a hold.